What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another Wrath of the Lich King Classic video. So, the WoW token has been introduced to Wrath of the Lich King Classic. This is something that I said back in TBC was going to happen, and I even predicted either Phase 2 or Phase 3 in Wrath Classic, and we're basically just at this time. We're basically at the end of Phase 2 right now. Phase 3 has been announced and is coming out in a little bit less than a month, and today I want to make this video talk about the WoW token and what impact this will have on the economy in Wrath of the Lich King. Now, I've been making quite a few gold making and gold farming videos. I feel like this is a video that I kind of owe it to you guys to make as well and talk about what impact this will have, both in terms of gold farming and also just gold making in general, investments, which my items can go up in price and which ones might be going down in price as well. So basically what to invest in, what to sell and so on. I'll try to give my point of view on this as someone who's played retail before, and I've seen the impact of the WoW token and what that impact was back then, which kind of materials and items went down in price and which ones went up in price. So basically I'm analyzing this and giving my opinions. Before that though, I do want to say that we currently have the biggest sale on my Wrath of the Lich King Classic gold making guide as well. You can get this for literally under $10 by clicking the link down below. The original price was $35 and I've always given 50% off to my audience, but now it's even cheaper, and it's cheaper than it ever has been. And if you want to make gold in Wrath of the Lich King, now is the perfect time to check out that guide. Here's the thing, WoW tokens were just released and we have had 200 to 400% profit on our investments the last 2 months. So if you bought a WoW token right now, for example, and you had the guide, you could have gotten 16,000 gold from the WoW token from $20 and then the guide for $10, and you could transform that 16,000 gold to upwards of 60,000 gold, giving you a lot more gold for the for the actual money you are paying. So if you're interested in just farming gold, investing or whatever, check out that guide through the link down below, and just clicking the link will actually take you to the automatically applied sale code, so you get it that cheap. The link will be down below at the top of the comments, the pinned comments, so feel free to check it out. You also get access to a private Discord server where we talk more about investments and when to sell which items and so on. Okay, with that being said, let's take a look at the WoW token and let me give you my opinions on what impact this will have. So, the WoW token itself makes it way easier for pretty much everyone to buy gold. Buying gold has been a thing in Wrath pretty much since the expansion came out. It's been a thing in Classic WoW since like Phase 5 or Phase 6 of Classic WoW, possibly even before that too, but it really started taking off towards like the later phases in Classic WoW, and it's pretty much been here ever since. At the launch of Wrath, they gave us free DKs, so bots for example, they just made a brand new account, boosted up a DK on that account and started botting for gold and selling that gold straight away. It made it a lot easier for bots to bot gold and sell gold, reducing the value of gold, and this just caused people to buy gold on the black market. Now here's the thing, even though WoW tokens are here, you can still buy gold on the black market, but doing that will always carry the risk of getting banned. Right now with the WoW token you have a way for anyone to buy gold legitimately at any time in the game itself, supported by Blizzard. It's Blizzard's way to sell you gold by basically giving you a token in which one person can farm the gold and one person can buy that gold from that person by giving him the WoW token, which is bought with real money, and then that guy can use the WoW token to redeem for game time. It's a win-win for farmers and people who want to buy gold pretty much, right? It's a way to buy gold legitimately. Now, number one, and the first factor you need to consider, is that when we can now buy gold legally, even though you can get it cheaper on the black market, that is illegal and you risk getting banned. So by having a legal way to buy gold, a lot of people will choose to go that route, and that will obviously make it so that bots no longer have the same amount of customers they used to before. This means that they might reduce their botting operations because the supply versus demand. They will have the same supply as they've had before, because they can just keep botting the way they've been doing, but the actual demand for their botted materials and the gold, or at least the gold they're selling, like the demand for gold on those websites, will go down drastically, which could in turn also mean that we are getting less bots in the open world as a simple... It's just like what's going to happen when they don't have the same amount of customers. Less bots means that some of the materials massively influx into the market through botting could actually end up going up in price because they will no longer be as heavily botted. A couple of examples here could for example be Nerubian Chitin, yeah, I think it's called that one, as we had a bunch of skinning bots in Wrath during Phase 2 and leading up to Phase 2 as well. In Phase 1 there were a bunch of herbalism and mining bots flying around, and now there's going to be way fewer of those bots because the reason why they were botting those materials is that they are flying off the auction house, and these bots, they want items or materials they can farm and sell super fast because they need to move the gold super fast. So instead of farming an item that for example takes 5 or 6 days to sell, they will farm an item that just sells as fast as possible, even if that gives them less gold, because they need to offload that gold as soon as possible to then just get rid of the account or stash the account for a bit and just keep that operation going. So heavily botted materials could actually see an impact in going up in price, so they can actually have an upwards trend. Another item or another category of items that could have an upwards trend here are consumables and items used in making consumables. There's particularly one group of people who loves buying gold both on the black market or through the WoW token, like I've seen in retail as well, and that is people who just want to play the game for one reason and one reason alone: raiding. They don't want to spend hours and hours farming in the open world, they just want to log on, raid with their friends, but get some parses, kill some bosses, get some loot and log off again. Now, even though they just care about raiding, they still need to buy flasks, they need potions, they need enchants for when they get like new gear, new loot from the raid. So all of those items and materials used in making those items, like flasks, potions, enchants, they could actually be going up in price. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, but it's something that could like steadily creep up in price because the supply is going to be the same, maybe even less due to less bots, right? So the supply is at most going to be the same, but could actually be going down. Lower supply or steady supply plus an increase in demand should obviously see a spike in price, and that's usually what happened in the past in retail when the WoW token came out, and it's something that's probably going to happen in Classic WoW as well. Now it really just depends on the rarity of the items, and some of the items that have a very big rarity are going to go more up in price than other ones. Look at flame caps for example, they have had a big uptrend ever since their initial crash. They went all the way from 50 gold down to less than 1 gold, and whoever bought them at the 1 gold price, they were at 1 gold for like a week, whoever bought those, congratulations, because they're back up to 15 gold again. So you made like a 1,500% return on your investment, which is a pretty big return in itself, and it's probably just going to keep spiking up until ICC comes out, and probably going to even out sometime during ICC. But those items, consumables and rare items used in raiding scenarios, could see an impact. Now right now we also have something called the Joyous Journeys event, or a buff that gives you 50% experience, and there's one item in particular that is used a lot when it comes to heirlooms, and that is the Golden Pearl. This one is used for a healing power or spell power enchant for weapons, so anyone who's looking to level up a caster will want a Golden Pearl or two for their enchants for their heirlooms. Now a lot of people might have that heirloom already, but a lot of people also don't, and Golden Pearls are really annoying to farm. They're basically locked behind RNG, and they have a 1% drop chance from very specific mobs in the open world all the way back in vanilla, so it's a very awkward and just annoying farm to do, in which case some people could just buy a WoW token and get that Golden Pearl. Now the Golden Pearl will never ever spike to the price of a WoW token, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying those people, they would rather, instead of spending an hour farming for a Golden Pearl, they would just buy a WoW token, get 16,000 gold, and maybe spend 200 gold on that Golden Pearl. In that case, that 200 gold represents 5 minutes of farming, so a lot of people would just opt to do that for those rare materials. So rare materials used for either raiding or leveling alts are going to go up, and just any rare materials that have any like useful use case could actually see an increase in price. And there's one more category that I haven't talked about yet: preparations. Anyone preparing for phase 3 could just come back, buy a WoW token, and buy anything they need. Now, in preparations, like, prices usually spike 1 or 2 weeks before the patch comes out, because people just forget to prepare, or they simply just don't care. A lot of things go up in price because people buy out of necessity, instead of thinking ahead of time. It's why, all the way back in Classic WoW, even though you knew exactly what was coming out in phase 6, you knew when Nostramus was coming out, you knew what kind of potions you needed, flasks you needed, and you knew about nature resistance, frost resistance, and all that stuff, but either way, they tripled and quadrupled in price on the patch day. So people just either don't care and don't do the research, or they just don't want to prepare, or they start preparing way too late. In this case, the people that prepared too late, or they just joined on the launch day, they can just buy a WoW token and buy anything they need, even though it's going to be at a higher price. So anyone doing investments could actually make a bunch of profits now that the WoW token is out. But either way, that's basically what I wanted to talk about: some of the impacts this could have on the market itself, some specific items that could be going up and down in price, and some materials that might be worth farming for now that the bots are going to be less, hopefully. Copium. Either way, that's the video for today. Leave a like down below if you enjoyed me rambling about this, and leave a comment what you think will happen now that the WoW token is available. And maybe let me know your thoughts on the WoW token as well in the comments down below. I would be really interested to hear if you think it's a good thing or a bad thing. Either way, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a sub. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you again very soon.